Hi everyone, welcome to Legends of the Spire. My name's Dave, great to have you with us. This is the podcast where I speak to the former players and managers of Chesterfield Football Club about their careers in football and beyond it as well. On the podcast this week, I spoke to Bob Newton. Now, Bob's sleeves are absolutely stuffed full of funny stories, so I always expected it to be an amusing one today, and I'm sure you'll find it as entertaining to listen to as I did recording it with him. He joined Chesterfield in the mid-1980s and was part of that title-winning team under John Duncan. Before Chesterfield, he had spells at clubs like Huddersfield and Hartlepool, also a spell in America too. And this podcast is well worth listening to just for the Franz Beckenbauer story alone from when he was in America, as it really cracked me up. As always, we are at Spire Legends on Twitter and Instagram, Legends of the Spire on Facebook, so do get in touch. There's also some John Duncan pin badges and 1994-95 scarves in the Legends of the Spire Etsy shop, so please do check it out. So here we are with a proper fans player, a player that had a real affinity with the fans, almost like having someone from the stands on the pitch every match. So I hope you enjoy it. Here we are with the latest episode with Bob Newton. Legends of the Spire! So it's interesting. You're a Chesterfield boy, aren't you? But you ended up coming.
Born and bred, yeah. I was born at a village called New Ufton. It's in between Mansfield and Chesterfield. We haven't got a village in it. We take it in turns. But it's a mining village, and being a footballer from there. I'm not the only footballer from the village actually. Another lad was Pete Morris. Another lad was Don Weston. So, we've got a good pedigree following those guys. And as I say, it's a mining village. My dad was a trucker and my mum worked at the co-op. So, from an ordinary working class family, mate. Yeah.
So was football always your kind of thing then?
Not really. As I say, my dad was a old wagon driver, as they call him. And I do like my old trucks to this day. And I took to football when I was about 9, 10. And what actually spurred me on was probably, I stood out at the junior school and the sports teacher, Mr. Binns, he didn't pick me for Vale. That was about four schools in the area. And I thought, right, I'll show you. And I'm a bit determined like that. And I did show him. So
that's all you need sometimes, isn't it? One person.
Sometimes you need a spare, and I always think that we young lads, when they're young pros, you see them, and that's why I try to give them the encouragement and the support they need if I ever talk to them and that, because there's that little spark, and it can make you go from there to there. So that's the way I used to do it.
Did you ever support like a team then growing up or anything like that?
Yeah, Newport County. I'm a bugger for the underdogs, and Newport County was always bottom of the league, and I supported them. But I used to go and watch Mansfield and Chesterfield, and sometimes more Mansfield, to be quite honest, because as I say, from a working class family, and the bus fare was cheaper. Sounds great, doesn't it? So, but that's how it was in them days, And to be honest, a pro who played for Mansfield, a bloke called Dudley Roberts, he signed me autograph book when a few players walked by me. And I thought, when I'm a pro, when I'm a pro at 11, I'm thinking about being a professional footballer. I'm never going to refuse autographs, and I'm also going to respect the supporters, and I'm also going to do what I can for them. And if you talk to all the supporters that clubs I've played for, I do that.
Well, that link between supporters and players is massive. It's like the key thing, isn't it? We've seen it at Chesterfield now recently, that there's a link between the players and the fans again.
Well, you've got to remember, in our day and age, I think it's a bit different now, Dave, with the modern players and everything. They're more protected and everything, obviously because of social media and stuff like that. But nowadays, the lads who were at school, used to come and watch you. They were working down the pit and in the mills, and you was lucky enough to be a professional footballer running out and entertaining your school friends. I used to entertain them in classroom because I was a bit of a school fool, if you don't mind.
Were you always kind of up front then, when you were playing?
I played up front all the time, yeah. But in America, I played at the back quite a bit. I mean, my debut playing at the back in America for New England team then was to Mark Kasdenia. I don't know if you know Kasdenia. Mm-hmm. Absolutely amazing player. I tell you what, I did well against him, but it was like you've got to be on your mettle. And but playing fullback, when you've been a striker, it's dead easy, to be quite honest. For me, the accolade for a footballer is when the fans take to you. I've been voted Player of the Year at Chesterfield, Vale, Hartlepool. When I was at Huddersfield, which we'll go on to talk about. And I was a young player there, doing really well. I went to England trials. I got selected. We had a five-a-side before we flew out to Switzerland. And Glenn Keeley tackled me. And I did my ligaments. That was it. And they brought a lad called Keith Bershin in, who was on the train going home. And they brought him back, and I ended up in Huddersfield Royal. That's football, it's a cruel thing, fate, isn't it? But it happens, but you accept it. It's part of the game.
Yeah. It's funny, you mentioned Robbie Earle a bit ago. There was a quote from him where he said, all the crowd could see he was going to put a fullback in the railway stand. He said about,
yeah, well, that was part of your game then, I was a big, strong lad, me and Mossy, the Cray twins up front. And funny story is, I think we played at home and we beat somebody 4-1, Crewe, I think it was, or might have been Portsmouth. I can't remember. And anyway, we annihilated them. Me and Ernie up front were just battering them. And we knew we'd got them after the first 10 minutes. And after the game, John McGrath, who was a right character, I've got the Cray twins up front. They held up for me, the Cray twins. Anyway, I don't want to be a Cray twin, but end of the day, that's the gaffer. The next game, I think it might have been away at Chester. And me and Ernie, it was terrible. We went from the Cray twins to the Dolly sisters overnight. That's football.
Only as good as you bet this is your last game, I suppose. Is that what they're saying?
Yeah, well, that's how it was. I think with Robbie, with that quote, it comes from when I made my debut at home to, it was a local team. It could have been Shrewsbury. I'm terrible like this sometimes. And it was one of them slippery surfaces. And the keeper threw the ball out to the fullback, who the gaffer in his pre-match talk said they'd only got one danger, and that was this fullback with the wrong throw-ins. Well, the keeper threw the ball out, and he miscontrolled it. Well, I was in like a bull in a china shop. Boom, got him. All right, fair tackle, strong tackle, but he went in the air, come down on his shoulder, and had to go off. And all I could hear is McGrath going, "That's what I want. That's what I want." It was a total accident, but you become a cult hero because of things like that, which I have become at Port Vale. I've been voted, I think, in the top 3 cult heroes, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
And there's a thing in the shop as well with me. I've got my hands in the air, number 9 on the back. And I just love it. Things like that they put at the side of it, wear the shirt with pride. So I must have done something right, haven't I?
Yeah.
When you've got that in a shop window, your picture, and you're giving it that. I did like that, to be quite honest.
Yeah, brilliant.
And that's not being arrogant. That's not being, I like to. I just think whoever thought of that has obviously seen me play and knew what passion I played with. Because I did play with my heart on my sleeve. I went out, gave 100%, and that was me.
Well, and that's exactly why I started this podcast in the first place, because you kind of realise when you're a supporter that it's the players that you watch when you're growing up or when you're younger that kind of make you feel something, that keep you engaged with a club, even if you go through a rough spell. It's actually the players that
you've idolised or chanted or whatever that actually keep you interested and keep you involved and keep you proud. So it's important, that kind of heritage of a club, isn't it? And the players that play.
Well, exactly. Every time I score, it's good to the crowd and everything. And I think there's a good one on the internet when I went to when we beat Darlington. I went to the crowd and the thing collapsed. Things like that. But you live the passion together. Well, I used to with the fans. It was just an amazing feeling. You scored at the top end at Saltergate, which to this day is still one of my favourite grounds. And it's straight over to the Kop, and they're there, and you can see the joy in the faces of what you've given them, and you think, God, what a job I've got, making people happy. It's just fantastic. You do get some shots, especially away and that, and I used to get lots of stick, and I used to think, if you're giving me stick, I'm doing my job. Lovely. I mean, there's a quick quote here. I played at Barnsley for Huddersfield, and I've had 3 one-on-ones with Peter Springer, England goalkeeper. And to be honest, it's keepers like that, you can't see anywhere. You tried to do him, and he saved one, went through again, he saved another. And next thing, I've gone through again. I thought, I've done him. And I hadn't. It got over and just tipped it out for a corner. Anyway, a little dog ran on the pitch, a little Jack Russell. And all I heard with the Barnsley fan shouted, "Get that dog off at pitch." The next thing, a fan from Huddersfield shouted, "Leave it on and take Newton off." Class, isn't it?
At those points, do you try not to kind of take any notice?
No, you used to engage. You engage. I mean, I've had loads of things like that. I can remember playing at Hereford. I think that was when we went up. That's one of the games that got us promotion. Me and Steve Spooner scored, I think. And I did this trick and I tripped over myself. I must have, really naff and daft. I fell right against the, where the supporters look over, the billboards.
Yeah.
And this woman's looking down at me, and she said in that Herefordshire accent, she went, "Hello, Newton." She said, "I bet you can eat your own weight in marzipan." I went, "I don't like marzipan, so you're only thinking, I've had one where they threw a pie out pitch at Portsmouth. It hit me straight on the shoulder. So what do? It's an old pie. I pick it up because I'm a bit of a character. I like to do that. Picked up, bit the pie, and it was red hot. And I mean red hot. Can you imagine it sticking to the roof of my mouth? So I was throwing this pie away, and I'm trying to get the pie from the roof of my mouth. And the Portsmouth fans are chanting, "You fat." And I'm going, oh. There's all sorts of stories, Dave,
Yeah, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. So you actually, like you mentioned, you started your career at Huddersfield. So how did that all happen?
Well, I was playing in the local league. Phil Walker was in it, Grizovic, Gordon Cowins, players like this. I played for St Michael's Colts, and I must say, these people who do these kind of jobs in football, these youth teams and these youth team coaches, we've got a great team. We've got a great youth team coach down at academy coach down at Chesterfield at the moment. Neil Cluxton is fantastic. But these guys are worth the weight in gold, and the wives who wash all the kit and everything. This is who I embrace in football. I love it because these people, I've got so much respect for them. And the guy who got me to play for St Michael's Colts at Newhafton was a bloke called Sid James. Funny enough, it was brilliant. And it was a fantastic coach as well. He knew how to talk to different players. And I played in that youth league, and I actually held the record for scoring the most goals in one game, which were 33. 33 goals in one game. that was for Newhafton, St Michael's Colts, because it was named after the church. We used to get changed in the church, and it was against Hillstown in Bolsover. Do you know Bolsover?
Yeah.
And it was that. I felt really sorry for the keeper and that. But then next thing, we got knocking on the door, the coach, Harry Buchanan from Shirebrook, wanted me to go there. Brian Clough could have gone to Derby, could have gone to Forest. could have gone to a few clubs, but I've been training with Huddersfield and I've become friends with all the lads that we became a very successful youth team side. We got to the FA Youth Cup final against Tottenham. We drew 1-1 away. I scored, and we got beat 1-0 at home, which was, it was disappointing, but that's football. And the reason I didn't go anywhere else is because I just loved Huddersfield Town. It's one of the it's a fantastic club. It's just a great club, and the fans there were brilliant. Going back to the thing when you're in the village and you want to be a footballer, but sometimes it has its drawbacks because you get just a level above the other lads, and sometimes I'd see them walk by my house and not call for me because I'm a bit too good for them. So I'd just go and practice on my own. I used to think, chuff you, I'll just go and had an old wall at the back of our garden. I used to just go and practice my skills there. Never bothered with them. And I'm a bit like that. I'm a bit strong-willed and I'm determined when I put something in my mind.
And you mentioned that injury at Huddersfield then. So that kind of, was that a bit
that
of
didn't
confidence?
Yeah, well, no. We had the best treatment and everything. The confidence was, and the disappointment were not playing in the England side that won the Mini World Cup in Switzerland. That injury at Huddersfield, it does knock you back. It does do your confidence, but you've got to come through that. It took me 2 years to get over that, Dave. 2 years, and it's a long time out of your career.
Yeah, exactly. It's a big setback, isn't it? And I mean,
I made my debut at 17.
Yeah, and you ended up with about 50 games, was it, for Huddersfield, something like that?
Yeah, I would have played a lot more. I would have played probably 200 for him because I was in the team regular, and that just takes you out of the equation, don't it? They sign other players, they come in, and you've got to battle back. And I had a setback with the injury. About a year and a half, I was okay, and then was doing practice, just me with physio, kicking ball, and I kicked the floor, boom, back to square one. So, disappointing, but end of the day, we're in a job I loved, getting the best treatment, and you crack on, don't you? Yeah.
Who did you really enjoy playing alongside? Were there other players that you just really liked?
I played alongside some of the best. Frank Worthington played, up front with Frank. I'll tell you a funny story. I was an apprentice and I was in first team. So you still had to do your job. And Frank, we'd all come in his club suits, tie up here, all smart. And discipline, you had to do your job. And Frank's apprentice. So Frank walks in, cowboy hat on, shirt undone down here, Elvis medallion on, cowboy boots, jeans tucked in. And I'm just a young lad, and I went, Frank were brilliant, though. Absolutely brilliant. He says, he come down corridor through thing. I says, Frank, what boots are you wearing today? What studs, Frank? He went, don't ever call me Frank again. And I thought, God, what have I done? He says, I'm telling you, never call me Frank again. I went, what should I call you then? He went, call me Frankie, baby. They're just class, honestly. What I used to do in changing room, his warm up, he used to put his shorts on, his socks and his boots, and never put his shirt on. And he used to come in about 10 to 2, put his boots on, get a ball, and just keep it up till we went out. Even through talking. And he could talk to you. He'd have banter. You catch it behind his head, if you're talking to you, then flick it up. We tried it, we'd be taking polystyrene tiles off the roof and everything. Great bloke. There's some great players at Huddersfield when I signed. Colin Dobson, international. Dick Criswicki, international. Jimmy Lawson, Frank, Terry Poole, Chesterfield lad, from Man United. They were a great squad and a great club. Just fantastic.
Allardyce's throw. Moore's header, Gowling under it. Worthington now from Gowling's header, and Worthington. And what a beautiful Worthington goal!
And then it was it Hartlepool then you went to next?
Huddersfield, yeah. That Hartlepool, what happened is, I'd come back and they were signing players. We got some of the old youth team players there. Martin Fowler, who Man United had come in for. Peter Hart, who's now a vicar, played for Walsall a lot. Played about 600 games for Walsall. Martin Fowler, Blackburn, Alan Sweeney, and Dick Taylor, goalkeeper. Great players, all these players, but they were signing other players, Huddersfield, who couldn't lace my boots. They couldn't. And I thought, right, first chance I get, I'm going. I told my dad, who didn't know anything about football, he went, well, I'd stop at Huddersfield. But being pig-headed, a young teenager, I played against Hartlepool in Cup. I had one of these games where you can't do anything wrong. And they come in for me. They busted the bank at about 15 grand, I think. And I went. And maybe I shouldn't have gone, but I did. And you can't regret decisions. You just have to, you have to stick by your own decisions. But it was a funny thing when I signed for them, and I got the train up and I was walking to the ground. And from the station, next thing, a tractor comes, full of manure on bike, comes up. This bloke stopped. He went, are you the new centre forward? I went, yeah, I am. He went, I hope you bleep a lot better than this one we've got now, because he's bloody useless. I went, yeah, I am. I don't know him. Who is it? He says, it's Alan Gold. He's useless. He said, that's why they bought you. I says, okay. I says, who are you? He says, I'm the chairman. Driving tractor and farmer,
Because obviously you travelled around a bit and been a few different places. How did you usually work it? Did you have like a base somewhere, or did you move and go and live in various places?
Lived at Hartlepool, which was great. Brilliant place to live. When I went to Port Vale, we bought an house. And then we were just about to move in. Funny enough, bought an house at Hartlepool. I used to live in a club flat. We bought an house. Hartlepool sold me to Port Vale. Bought an house at Stoke. Just about to move in. And Port Vale sold me to Chesterfield. So we decided that it'd be a good idea to get somewhere central, because no matter where you go, you can travel and clubs usually put you up. So that's what we did. We got a central base for the kids to go to school. And obviously, that worked out for them. But I went to America, which a lot of people know and don't know. I went for 3 seasons, and Hartlepool got a really good amount for every season I was there. And it saved Hartlepool from going out of the league. I went to New England Team, and was owned by Lipton Tea. And, that was a great experience. And there's another story there, playing at Lincoln. And I was on fire. And we beat Lincoln 3-1 away. I scored 2. One of those games, couldn't do anything wrong. You get games like that where you can't do anything right. Well, anyway, I'm coming out of the changing room after, and at Sinsel Bank, old Sinsel Bank, you used to have to walk across to go into the players' lounge. Well, I'm coming out, the same chairman on the tractor, he used to wear a trilby with a feather in it. He went, I want to word with you, Newton. I went, what for? I thought, what have I done wrong? Newton, come over here. This is outside. I says, what? What's the matter? He went, I've just sold you to America. I went, what do you mean? He says, this I think he got name wrong, New England something. He says, I've just sold you to them. You're going there. I went, I don't want to go there. He says, I've just sold you. You're going. Where? It was a loan deal. I think it was about £60,000 a year. He says, well, I've sold you. That's it. I went, I don't want to go there. He says, I've got you £1,100 a week. I went, I'm going. I'm going. So I had a great 3 seasons at New England, where I scored quite a few goals. Noel Campbell, Dennis Violet were the manager and coach. and some great players there. You know, we had Tony Brown, West Brom, Kevin Keelan, next Norwich, Jack Carmichael. We had internationals, Keita from Portugal, Keita from Mali, sorry, but we played in Portugal. Arthur, we played for Portuguese, national side. Jean-Pierre Tocato, everything. I could tell you loads of funny stories about them. We'll do that one day. We'll have a funny story, Dave. We'll have a funny story hour.
What was it like in America? What was the standard like? Because obviously at that time they were getting a lot of like big names, weren't they? And
well, people often ask me that, and I'll tell you. Let me just go through some players who you play against: George Best, Cruyff, Neeskens, Beckenbauer. Johnny Rep. I can go on and on. There's just them players don't become bad players overnight, and they don't become losers because they're playing in North America. It was hard, you're playing Granitza. All these players, they were unbelievable to play against. You run out on the pitch, and you stood next to Johan Cruyff. Unbelievable. 1 minute you've been playing at Crewe, next minute you stood next to Johan Cruyff.
Was the temptation never there to kind of like, oh, should we swap shirts? Can I have your shirt?
I did swap shirts with Cruyff, and I get it an American lad called Dennis Witt, which I sometimes regret about that. But that's all right.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a lad who played for Hartlepool, Peter Carr. He had to mark Cruyff that day, and I felt really sorry for him, honestly. We beat him, actually. Beat him in the shootout, and I scored. I don't know if you know the shootout, 35-yard line. You get 10 seconds, and to beat the keeper, I was pretty good at it. I just used to make him handle. Boom. So, like that. But, yeah, Peter Carr, he was sweating. He was sweating like a pig, he was, when he came off the pitch. There's a funny story where I was in America, got big locker rooms, and he's next to me, but about 2 yards away, and he had big ears, and he was really a goofy old Pete. He went, Newt, he says, pass me that programme. Well, programme was a book. It was like massive. They were unbelievable. And I went, oh, there you are, Biff. His name was Biffo. I says, what do you want programme for? He says, what do I want programme for? He says, I'm going to have a look through this to see if there's a picture on Johan Cruyff to see what he looks like. Because he'd been skidding him all night, doing the Cruyff liftover and everything.
Yeah.
But there's a story. There's a story in Tony Brown's book about me there as well, playing New York Cosmos, 92,000 there. Nobody believed me. I don't think you'd believe me, but I scored an header, right? I did score an header, right? And what's happened? I'm playing against Beckenbauer, and obviously Beckenbauer was just different class. So I thought, I want to mix it up with him. That's the only way I can do it. Ball up, mixing it up. That's how it were. He's moaning, He was a gentleman, but he did call me an English pig and all that. Another one up there, boom, have a bit of that. Anyway, this is in Tony Brown's biography. Tony Brown was Bomber Brown from West Brom. Brilliant player. Assistant lads, hang another one up here, he's gone. He's blown, and he'd blown Beckenbauer. So I've gone across him, and he's fell on both knees. Remember that I was still an Hartlepool player, like the American club paid 60 grand a season for me. So by all sense and purposes, I was still an Hartlepool player. So this is in Bobby Brown's book. Just had a living. And Beckenbauer fell on his knees, and he said to me, he went, because I've been roughing him up, he went, I am Franz Beckenbauer, West Germany, and Bayern Munich. And I kicked him in the goalies and says, Bob Newton, Hartlepool United. So I can't remember it, but it's in the book, so maybe it's true, maybe it's not.
It sounds like it could be true.
It probably is true. And I come to Chesterfield, my hometown. Bob Pepper, the secretary, loved Bob, and I agreed a deal, bit of money in my hand. It was all right. The money was, I think it was about five grand or something like that. says to Bob, well, where's my sign feel like? I want to get wrong. Well, that's how other clubs have done. They do deals. Bob, well, we'll get you next week. Oh no, it don't work like that, Bob. No, it don't work like that. I says, well, if you get money, if you got all money, whatever, then we can do a deal. If you make a deal with somebody, you make a deal, don't you? And suddenly they found it. Strange, isn't it? They found it within 10 minutes. But that's how it goes. But, playing under Dunks and that, Kevin Randall, God bless him, my best friend, Kev. And we had some great times. We had some real laughs at Chesterfield with Dunks. I mean, Dunks, some people think Dunks is a bit miserable and all that, but he's not. He's so funny, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, well, I had him on the podcast and he does seem to have a good
he's got a demeanour about him. I mean, we were playing at Aldershot away. And what happened? They put the wrong strip in, right? They put the red strip in and they played red at home. So we had to borrow Farnborough Town strip, all white, which were actually better than ours. It was, yeah. And it's one of these nights what I used to love on the evening kickoffs. Like this, damn, bit of drizzle, floodlights on. Oh, it's heaven for a footballer. Do you know what I mean? It's heaven. It's just like, come on. Anyway, so it kicks off like, next thing, been given 10 minutes, I'm on the far side. All I can hear is Dunks. I've got the ball and I'm surrounded by 3 players. Give it the winger! Give it the winger! And I can hear him, and next thing I've got tackled, ball's gone out of play. And I've got up, looked up, and there's a guy walking round with the white overalls on, one of them things in front of him, selling pies. I went, Gaffer, it's the pie man. He went, should I give it in? Should I give it in? Hilarious. Another one I got done at Bristol. This fullback, I sorted him out, but he come back on, and he were quicker than ever. And this fullback who I'd sorted out, he come back on, he were quicker, but then he did me. And I had to have 46 stitches in my shin.
Wow.
Right, so this is 10 minutes before half time. So it goes off, right, and I'm on treatment table in the medical room. Doctor comes in. In fact, Kevin Randall were looking at it. Like, I says, I'll be all right, Kev. Just put some tape around it with my shin pad. He went, are you a complete idiot? I went, yeah. He went, anyway, where's this bloody doctor? Where? And he was stood behind him. And he went, I'm here. Oh, Kev's going, oh, sorry. So he puts these stitches in. Yeah, great. So I jumps off the bench. They all bursted because he'd put facial stitches in. Get back on the thing. So 45 more stitches in. And by this time, lads were having a cup of tea. And I goes in, expecting a bit of sympathy off Dunks. And he's going, he says, are you all right now? I went, yeah, Gaffer. He says, that's a pity we're playing a lot better way, aren't you? I went back on and scored, though, so that were all right, wasn't it?
Oh, there you go, then. Did you score twice on your debut? Is that right?
Do you know something? I'm going to have to become dead honest here, Dave. I did, and if you'd asked me this question last week, I would have said, you'll have to tell me. But I was in the driver's room because I work for GIST, a big logistics company, which I love. It's a great job. And I was talking to lads, there's a lot of Spyrites in there, Forest fans, Chef Wednesday fans. We have a great banter. We all have bets with each other and everything. And Taggy, who's a Spyrite through and through, he says, do you know who you made your debut against and how many scored? I went, Doncaster at home. No. I went, where were it then? He says, Rochdale away, he scored 2. And I looked it up, and they were right. So, and I played against Big Joe Cook that day. Oh, Joe. Joe said it was Friday. It was Friday, you know what I mean? But he never frightened me that much, but he could give you a good wallop, Joe could, down again. Well, I did I did score 2, and they were pretty good goals actually. And I'll never forget this. One of the fans were on pitch, and it was a quagmire, right? And I've run over to him, right? You know, like this, and he's come and he's just tried to stop, and he's gone by me like a downhill skier. he's gone sailing past me. Unbelievable! I'll never forget that. But you know, it's actually strange. You know, yeah. I mean, playing away on your debut and scoring, fantastic.
What?
I mean, I only took penalties as well because nobody else would take them. You know, I'm not taking you.
What was it like then? Just so obviously it was like a bit of a dream, obviously, to sign for like a hometown club. So what was that whole period like, signing and settling in?
Yeah, I'll tell you what it's like. Playing for young towns, like playing for England. Every time you pull that shirt on, it's just class. It's the nearest thing to playing for your country. It's got to be. You know, again, your community. You know, we're tight-knit community around here. You know, we love town, we love Derbyshire, and I love my mates. You know, most of them working class lads in pits, and like I say, then in mills and whatever. And I used to love playing for them and making. You know, it made me proud knowing that I'd made them proud. If you know what I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
It was just fantastic. And I used to love it. Put it on, come on, I couldn't wait to get out. So just get out there and come on, let's play. I used to say to the ref, you know, how long to go? I used to say 10 minutes. I used to say, can't you make it half an hour? You know, wanted to play longer.
Love it a minute, yeah.
Yeah, I say John Duncan was a great coach, along with Kevin Randall, you know, and they had the changing room. And when I first signed, the first year, he was playing me behind the front too. I mean, it was hard work, but I enjoyed it, and I enjoyed playing for Dunks. He never included me in any of the free kicks or anything like that, you know, corners. He just used to say, go where you want, you're uncoachable. So I just went where I went. And the first season, I knew we weren't quite good enough, which you do as a player. The second season, I thought, we've got a right chance here, because we had good lads. We had Steve Baines at the back, Les Hunter, who was the right back. I think it was Barry Stimpson. And I mean, one of the best players for me, for Chesterfield of all time, Sean O'Neill. You know, and then in midfield, we had a good midfield with Spooner, Kendall, Steve Kendall, what a player. You know, John Matthews, and up front, me and Mossy and Phil Brown. I mean, young Phil Brown he'll tell you, was very lucky that he made his debut up front with 2 seasoned pros, like me and Ernie. And we looked after him, and it gave him a bit of leeway to do his little bit of magic, which are only slight, but what a player.
So did you feel then in that championship winning season, when did you feel like, was there a point when you thought, oh yeah, actually we've got something good?
I thought seriously now, I thought from the word go. Yeah, from the word go. I think we beat Aldershot at home 2-1. Me and Phil Brown scored. And I just knew we looked strong. The thing is, if we went 1-0 up, it was hard to peg back, because we knew at back we were so strong. The keepers, I mean, we had Jim Brown, because Jim played in America when I was there as well. He played with Cruyff, Jim. And then we had Chris Marples, Jed, because I give everybody the nicknames, as we said. I had Jed Clampett, you know, that's who he's named after. I don't like that saying, strength in depth. We had good players who could step into the breach of it, you know. So that was pretty good. And we had a good coach with Kevin Randall. You know, he was a lot of the brains behind the coaching and that. And John Duncan, he'd tweak it, and they got on well together. And, you know, they worked well together.
Yeah, John Duncan was saying that they both had kind of similar starts as managers, so they were kind of a perfect.
Yeah, they were. What they had different views on the game, but they gelled. When them views were put together, they gelled. So it wasn't only good for them; it was good for the club, and it was good for the players. Dunks were great with me. He just let me play. And that's all I ever wanted to do. I was never your tactician, stand here over there. I had this intuition. I used to like to go to the near post, score a lot of goals there. But, to be honest, free kicks and all that bored me to bits. It wasn't my thing yet. Used to run us around Kelstage and all around there. I'd love that, But five-a-sides were all right. I'm not too keen on them. But put me in a shirt on a Saturday, and boom, I come alive.
That's it, yeah. And you played virtually every game, didn't you, in the championship winning season?
I think I did, yeah.
I think it was 45, 45.
Yeah, I was banned for one, wasn't I? I think. I got sent off somewhere. But I remember coming off against Wrexham as well, another one with Kev. This is a funny story as well. And this lad had done me. We've been having a battle, he'd done me. Fair play. And I was limping over the touch to the dugout. I was struggling here, Kev. And I never hardly come off. Got to be something. Kev went, what's up? I went, ankle, look at it. And it was you could see it was swelling as we were talking. And we came in that elastoplast stuff. Well, the club doctor used to give us a prescription to get them because they couldn't afford them. Right? So I'm there. I says, well, try with elastoplast on them. So it took me, they took my sock off. No, they put it over the sock. And he's pulling it tight. And I went, oh, Kev. I went, oh. He went, do you know how much this stuff costs? I went, oh, I better go back on then. He went, yeah, get back on. I went back on and scored 2. I think one was a pen. But, do you know how much this stuff costs? And we had I'll tell you another one. We had a ultrasonic machine in the physio room, and people used to go in for physio. And we'd be there, yeah. Kevin put some deep heat on your injury, and he'd give it the old up and down. How's that? Yeah, that feels great. That feels great, Kev. Except for Wacky, they told he were injured. You're either fit or injured, and Dunks used to tell him that. You're fit, Wacky, this week? Yeah, I am. You're injured when we was at home or away. I can't remember which way it was, Dave. Anyway, Kevin been using this ultrasonic for a season. Blah, blah, yeah. Okay, we're feeling heat through the stuff he put on, Then we found out it didn't even work. The machine didn't work. So placebo. We were getting ultrasound, placebo, Oh, hilarious. One season for an whole season never worked.
What were the celebrations like then after winning the title?
Well, we won. I think we won the title at Peterborough away, didn't we? And they took the families down on coach. Thingy on. They took the families went down on the coach, and we drew at Peterborough. I think 0-0. And there weren't much of celebrations. I think the club said they were going to stop somewhere and treat the families and the players, but it never materialised, mate. We just came straight back. Don't know why. Well, I do, but I would, people at the top, I think. That's all I'm saying.
Did you keep your medal and stuff like that? Is that all stuff?
Yeah, my grandson's got that. Yeah. I think they're fetching a few bob, aren't they, apparently?
They probably are, yeah.
Yeah, I won't part with that. That's like winning a World Cup medal, isn't it? Chesterfield, brilliant. We deserve to go up that year, And we deserve this medal. We worked hard for it. And, the players and Dunks and Rando, they were great.
Yeah, and obviously you moved on, didn't you, after that season?
Yeah, I went back to Hartlepool. But the thing is, when I played Chesterfield, what had happened is I'd got a couple of injuries, and I'd got a really bad one. I'd got what you call a patella tendon, a bursa on my patella tendon. And what I did, in hindsight, I should have rested it for 2 months, but I kept having injections, and I know Dunks might listen to this, but the management never stopped me having them. But it was my decision in the end. I had them, And what happens, that I don't know if you know about them cortisone injections, they rot your tendons.
Right.
Well, we're playing at Burnley, and I'd got the ball out wide, and I went to, you know, how you put your leg over the ball and just do a shimmy. I mean, just my knee went. And what happened is my patella tendon had just completely snapped. So they sorted that out. And I think that's the reason they let me go. They thought I was a bit injury prone, you know. But the funny thing we're at Burnley as well, the lads, when we go in the changing room, I'm there and they're doing this. And they said, what's up now? I said, you know, I think patella's, it hadn't completely snapped, it's torn. I said, oh, my patella thing is gone. And one of the lads chirped up, he says, nah, it must have been shocker beating a fullback now. You don't get no sympathy in the changing room, you know.
Definitely not.
No. But yeah, I went to Hartlepool, and to be honest, that injury plagued me through that. And then I got glandular fever while I was there. So that don't help, which, you know, that wasn't a good return for me as a player when you're used to giving it your best and not missing games. Having to miss games and being off for a while, that wasn't good. I didn't like that. But I still got the respect to Hartlepool fans, which I say because I got voted player of the year and that. And no, I've been had player of the year twice there.
Yeah.
And I think player of the 80s, was it?
Yeah, player of the 80s, I think it was, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's something else, isn't it? You know, Dave? You know, when people can vote for you like that, lads, you know, who pay the good money to come in and they respect you that much that they're going to vote for you like that. It's just, it's brilliant. It's just brilliant.
Yeah. Did any of those injuries kind of stay with you throughout the years? Because I've spoken to loads of former players and stuff that all kind of struggle with various different things.
I'm quite lucky. The only one I have is my back. Playing for Huddersfield, Chef Wednesday, went round the goalkeeper, just rolled it in, and the lad who was chasing me, a big centre half called Cyril Cussite, 6'8", great lad Cyril. He's tripped over the keeper and landed both knees in bottom of my back. So it didn't break my back. And that's all I have it from. I mean, I walk 6 or 7 miles a day with Archie. I'll show you Archie in a bit. We get him on the phone, yeah?
Yeah.
And yeah, I go with him. I've got the cross trainer up in spare bedroom, and I've done some weights today. So I like to keep fit. I'm a strong lad, and I like to keep that way. Like I say, I'm on a dry Jan, so I'm going well. But you know, keeping fit, people don't realise how fit you are when you're a pro, and I don't think you realise yourself. You know what it takes to get through a game or a season. I mean, I've seen lads with horrific injuries, and it's ended the career. You know, when I lament about the England one, you know, doing that, hey, I was a lucky one. I managed to play again. Yeah. You know, and have a good career. Some lads I know got injured, done. You know, and they weren't as serious as mine, but it's just that they couldn't recover from them. Not because I'm Superman or all like that. It's just how the cookie crumbles, isn't it?
Yeah,
and,
it is. Yeah.
You know, and when we talk about players, when you talk about how things can turn for you, whether you make a pro, whether you don't. The lad called Les Robinson, Google him, I think he played 700 games for Oxford, right? I remember we were playing at home. I don't know who it was against, and I was just going up to the players' lounge. And funny enough, I was the last one walking up. My wife and children were up there. And I just come by the boot room and I heard some sobbing. So I went in. I mean, from my Huddersfield days and Frank Worthington, I also looked after the apprentices, your Jamie Hewitts and all that. Tell them, you know, if you ask them, they'll tell you. I mean, I'm Mickey Taker and we all used to wind them up, but, you know, they were brilliant. Anyway, I heard this sobbing, so I went in, couldn't see nobody. I looked. There's this lad crying. There was a lad called Les Robinson from Shybrook. I says, what's up, son? He says, I've just been told they're not signing me as a pro. I thought, what time to tell him, you know? Why don't you just let him stay at home? whatever. I says, all right, and it's difficult what to say in that situation. I just says, come on, I'll give you a lift home. So I went up to Players Lounge, just says to Karen, I says, just wait here, I'll only be 45 minutes. I'm just going to nip one of these apprentices back home. So I nipped him down and we just had a good chat all the way down. And then half an hour after, because I was a bit later, and I said to him, look, you have to believe in yourself, Les. You've got it, mate. You undoubtedly, I would put my money on the line that you will play in Football League for a long time. And he did. And funny enough, I come back to the Players Lounge and it was still pretty full and thingy. And Dunks were there and I said, Gaffer, can I have a quick word with you, please? He says, yeah, of course you can do. I says, let's talk to you in your office. So I says, what, nothing to do with me. What you let this lad Robinson go for? I says, it's different class. His heads and shoulders above anybody else. He went, well, this is it. So, people make mistakes in game. He's seen it different. That's just a story to show, if anybody's listening to this, young boys, believe in yourself, right? Believe in yourself. Do it, believe it, and then do it. And Les went on, and he talks to me in this group at Mansfield, Les, who's now living in Cotswolds, obviously, Oxford. And he also says to me, that talk we had, Newt, in your car, he says, that's what inspired me. And that makes me proud.
Yeah.
It makes me, a bit tearful as well.
Looking back on your career then, what do you consider like the important things looking back on your career in terms of how you were or how you played or what you loved?
How I played, I think we skipped on that earlier. Played with me heart on my sleeve, gave 100%, didn't always play well. And what I did as well, I know I keep going to it, I respected the crowd. I can remember John Matthews coming in after one game, and John was so talented, it was just unbelievable. He had more skill than all the team put together. And he come in one day, half-time, and Compton Street had been giving him some stick. And he come in, and the company old John, he was a great lad. He went, them boys giving me stick in that. I went, I'll tell you why they're getting you stick, John. I said, some of them lads have been on them terraces, right? Some of them blokes have been on them terraces for 60 years. They've got the sons with them who's been on them 20. They've got the grandsons. I says, they know a good player when there's one. I says, and they know when a good player is not giving his best or giving it all. I says, they're not daft, And he went, I says, if you go out there, you give 100%, all them lads will take to you. And he did listen to me, and every game after that, he lost a bit of his skill game because he was a touch player, but he'd start tackling people and getting in, 100% chasing balls. He went from boo to, and it's all about having that rapport with crowd. Some players haven't got it. They won't even know what it's about because they are that selfish. It's all about me, look at me, No, it's about these people who come in. Football, to me, when you're playing and you can play 90 minutes, you're playing 90 minutes with them people. It's 90 minutes of your life that you're sharing with people who share the same passion about football as you.
And now you've still got a really good association with the club, haven't you? So, that must be nice to still have that now.
I enjoyed it. I love Chesterfield. It's my hometown, Spy Rights. And like I say, we've got some of the best supporters in the country. But so have Hartlepool, and so have Port Vale, and so have Newport, and so have Thingy. They've all got the hardcore people. And I respect them all. Even then we get a mistake. I'd love to have a pint with him and shake. I say, come here. Look, we're just human like you. Because you do get that that thing, which is it's only natural. I did it. You look up to pros and you think, wow, there's something else. No, we all go home and we like egg and chips, and bread and butter and a cup of tea and, watch Coronation Street and watch Emmerdale, and then care about the result if you've got beat, you know. I was never one of them who got down, though, Dave, because I think that would a detriment to you, you know. If you got beat, you've got to try and put it right next time and just come out and do it. I mean, when I was top scorer, I was top scorer both years, and I think I hadn't scored for 12 games. We're playing Colchester away, and Kev Randall got me just as we were going out. He went, "Stop back a minute now." I went, "All right, Kev." And I thought, "Is he going to give me a bollocking?" So he just says, "No." He says, "You're getting in all positions." He says, "It's just not going for you." He says, "Just keep doing it tonight. It'll come for you." I scored a wonder goal. Do you know what I mean? And I couldn't stop scoring after that. Well, Kev were good at that. They were good at spotting you. You know, you get a bit worried when you're not scoring as a striker, but you just got to keep going. You know, the same as players. They're only human. They do lose the confidence. And we all know what it's like when you lose your confidence in any form of life, in any job. You know, you start to question yourself, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Yeah, I've had loads of strikers on, and they're all kind of speaking in a similar way, really, of just like, if I missed it, I just say, right, forget it. Next one, next chance. I suppose that's the only way to do it, isn't it? If you're going to be successful.
Yeah, the next one will come along. It's a bit rough when you screw through 2 or 3 right posts. Oh, got another one like that. Well, they just keep going, and you know, the lads are there for you. We all go in together. I mean, I've seen some good bust-ups in changing rooms. Don't get me wrong, I've seen them fighting and everything. It's quite funny. Wrestling on floor while Gaffer's giving speech, and you just watching them. Go on, carry on. You know, it's hilarious. Half of what it goes off, you won't believe it. But all in all, you know, being able to say that you've been a professional footballer, something else in it. You play for your hometown. I don't care about Man United. I don't care about, you know, Liverpool, even though they're great teams and that. I play for Chesterfield, and that'll do for me. This is Archie.
Hi, Archie.
We were walking a bit, aren't we? He'd have been a good centre forward. He's a Patterdale. He'd have been a good centre forward, wouldn't you, pal? Top man.